Hello comparison test viewers, and welcome back to another All Cars Everyday video. I'm standing here with the 2021 Honda Odyssey as it aims to defend its title as America's best minivan. And here is today's competitor, the 2021 Kia Sedona, the only South Korean minivan on the market. I'm evaluating these two vans in 7 different categories, and I'll be declaring an advantage to either van in each of those 7 categories. Furthermore, I'm comparing them at a specific trim level, and I won't be adding any options or packages to those trim levels to keep the comparison test as fair as possible. So more specifically, I'm comparing the Kia Sedona SX to the Honda Odyssey EX-L. With that out of the way, let's get into our first area of evaluation, which is going to be value. In this category, we take a look at the MSRP of each vehicle and then look at the standard features offered for that price. The Honda Odyssey EX-L received some significant changes for 2021 and now starts at $38,460. Exterior lighting is LED all around, including the daytime running lights, headlights, tail lamps, and fog lights. The side view mirrors are heated for the winter, and they also tilt down when you put the car in reverse for backing purposes. The exterior also has 18-inch machined finish alloy wheels with dark gray inserts. The sliding doors in the Odyssey are powered with a shut-off feature, and there are a variety of different places to open them from, including the door handle both inside and outside the door, a button in the second row, a button on the fob, and buttons in the first row. The tailgate door is also powered with a programmable height function. Finally, the Odyssey has smart entry with walkaway auto lock, which allows entry into the vehicle without ever touching the key fob, as seen on many new cars. It will automatically lock after the owner leaves a certain radius after parked as well. Open the door and step into the Odyssey, and you will meet the 12-way power driver's seat, which includes 4 ways of power lumbar support. The passenger gets 8 ways of power adjustment as well, with the same 4 ways of power lumbar support. Both front seats are heated, and they are leather, as is the steering wheel and second row outboard seats. Technology in the Odyssey revolves around 2 screens, the 8-inch color touchscreen infotainment system in the middle of the dash, and the similarly sized LCD screen in the gauge cluster. This screen is situated between an analog temperature gauge on the left and the fuel gauge on the right. It can be reconfigured to show a variety of information, including key vehicle statistics, outside temp, a compass, the active safety systems, audio, and more, but will always display a speedometer readout. The screen in the dashboard has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a Sirius XM subscription, and Bluetooth that can be activated with controls on the steering wheel. All of this audio playing capability goes through the Odyssey's 160-watt audio system that has 7 speakers, including a subwoofer. Convenience features include a one-touch power moonroof, an electronic parking brake, remote start, push-button start, and a HomeLink universal home remote mounted on the auto-dimming rearview mirror. The first 2 rows of windows have an express up and down feature, and the EX-L also has a 2-position memory system for the front seats and mirrors that will save 2 separate drivers' preferred positions. The climate control is a tri-zone unit with a zone for each of the front passengers and the rear rows, with controls for the rear row mounted in the roof and the second row passenger side of the van. The second row also has sunshades and magic slide seating that can alter where the seats are positioned inside if you remove the middle portion of the bench seat. I struggled to find the usefulness of this, but then again, I'm not a parent, so there may be something that I'm missing. The third row has one motion 60/40 split folding rear seats, which can fold backwards and into the floor, creating a flat load point, which is actually useful. That said, the second row seats can be removed in this van by one person, though it is pretty frustrating and time consuming to get them off and back onto the hooks in the floor. It's too much of a guessing game, and later on when I can pit all of the 2021 model year vans against each other, you'll see why Chrysler's solution to this problem is so genius. Rounding out the interior are many USB exclusive charging ports, one in the front, 2 in the second row, and a 12-volt outlet in both the front, third row, and cargo area. Rear seat passengers can download an app called Cabin Control that allows them to change the radio and climate settings. Another app to be downloaded, this time by the drivers of the car, is Honda Link, which allows remote access to the vehicle from your smart device. Features here include starting, stopping, locking, and unlocking the vehicle, among many others. The 2021 Kia Sedona received some major trim level updates, but still looks relatively the same on the outside. The highest trim level SX is still a value-packed option, starting at $41,500. It only comes in 3 trim levels this year, and the middle trim EX starts in the $33,000 range, which would not compete as well with the Odyssey EX-L. Let's see if it can justify that premium with its content. On the outside, the mirrors are heated and power folding, and there are 18-inch machined finish alloy wheels. The lights are LED all around, including the positioning lights, fog lights, tail lamps, and the auto-leveling headlights that also turn into a corner where the steering wheel turns to light up exactly where you're going. Besides chrome bright pieces and roof rails, there are also lots of power-operated doors, including the side doors and the tailgate, which can be programmed to stop at a certain height and has a hands-free open feature where you can just stand behind it with the fob somewhere on your person and it will automatically open. The last feature on the Sedona is the smart key that has gotten to be ubiquitous in the industry that allows keyless access to and exit of the vehicle. Using that system to get into the Sedona reveals the driver's seat that has 12 ways of power adjustment, including 4-way lumbar support, and a passenger seat with 8 ways of power adjustment. Both those front seats are heated and ventilated, so passengers can be comfortable in both warm and cool climates. They're both also trimmed in leather, as is the rest of the cabin. Technology is focused mainly on the infotainment system, which is an 8-inch color touchscreen that has a Sirius XM subscription, Bluetooth, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and a navigation system. Music playing capability runs through the Harman Kardon surround sound system with an external amp and sub. I'm no audiophile, but it sounds great to me. Behind the steering wheel is the instrument cluster with an analog tachometer on the left and an analog speedometer on the right. In the middle is a 3.5-inch LCD display that can be reconfigured to show the driver a variety of information, including a digital speedometer readout, outside temp, audio controls, trip distance, and more. The Sedona is packed with convenience features, including a power sunroof, express up and down windows in the first 2 rows, push-button start, an auto-dimming rearview mirror, and an electronic parking brake. The Sedona has lots of places to plug in devices, including a wireless phone charger, 2 charge-only USB ports, a 110-volt house-style outlet up front and in the cargo area, and 3 12-volt outlets, 2 of which are in the front of the van and 1 of which is in the cargo hold. The second row seats are called slide and stow. They are not removable, but instead fold forward up against the front captain's chairs. Though you won't have to deal with removing them manually, we'll see if this has an impact on the van's storage capacity later on. The front passenger chair also has a chauffeur seat switch which allows the driver or rear seat passengers to reach over and move the seat fore and aft for more room. It's a feature found nowhere else in the segment, and this time I think it might just be excessive. The second row is roomy enough, unless you have Shaq sitting in the passenger seat. Temperature control in the cabin starts with the tri-zone climate control system with a separate zone and controls for the rear passengers, both rows of which also get sunshades for the windows. However, the Sedona has 2 glove boxes in the dashboard, and the bottom one can be chilled to keep food and beverages cool, which is useful and not found at this price point typically. Final holdout features include a heated steering wheel, 2 position memory system for the driver's seat and mirror positions, and the Kia Yuvo app, which allows remote access to the vehicle with features to start, lock, unlock, and track the vehicle, among others. Simply download the app on your smart device and use the free trial with your new car. Like most other manufacturers in the industry, Yuvo turns to a subscription service afterwards. It's a close call with value this year, enough that I can't declare an advantage to one over the other. The Kia has more advanced mirrors, headlights, ventilated seats, a cooled glove box, navigation, a better audio system, a heated steering wheel, and a wireless charger over the Odyssey. But are those features worth the $3,040 price difference? I think at best they are equivalent to that amount of money, hence why this year the Sedona doesn't get the absolute advantage. In this category, we take a look at the standard active safety technology of each vehicle, as well as reviewing the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety's passive crash test results. The Odyssey has lots of active safety features standard. Included are the following: a collision mitigation braking system and road departure mitigation system, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, a lane keeping assist system, adaptive cruise control with low speed follow, traffic sign recognition, a blind spot information system with a cross traffic monitor, and automatic high beams. It was rated the highest designation by the IIHS as a 2020 Top Safety Pick Plus, achieving the highest rating of good in every category except headlights, where it was rated acceptable. Active safety features on the Sedona include high beam assist, park distance warning in the front and rear, a surround view monitor bird's eye view camera, forward collision avoidance with pedestrian detection, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, driver attention warning, smart cruise control with stop and go, blind spot collision warning, and rear cross traffic collision warning. It was rated good everywhere in IIHS testing except the ease of use of the child seat anchors and the passenger small overlap, which were rated acceptable, as well as the headlights, which were rated poor. The Odyssey gets the advantage in safety this year. Though the two have similar active safety features, the Odyssey is a Top Safety Pick Plus, the highest designation from the IIHS, securing it the advantage. In this category, we take a look at the engine, transmission, 0 to 60 time, and other performance features that are relevant to each vehicle. The Odyssey has a carryover 3.5-liter transverse-mounted V6, making the same 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet as the 2020 model year van. However, this engine is mated to a new 10-speed automatic, up from 9 gears last year. The engine employs modern features like variable cylinder management and Eco Assist, and the 10-speed is a shift-by-wire unit with paddle shifters for manual selection of gears should the driver feel the need for this. The van is still only offered in front-wheel drive trim, which eliminates it from competing with the new Pacifica and Sienna in the snowbelt states where some consumers deem all-wheel drive necessary. However, it is quicker than many sedans and SUVs with a 0 to 60 time of 6.6 seconds. The Sedona has a 3.3-liter V6 with 276 horsepower and 248 pound-feet of torque, which scoots to 60 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds. Power is routed through an 8-speed automatic transmission with manual shifting done through the gear selector. The van is exclusively front-wheel drive like the Odyssey, but has an active eco system and drive mode select with normal, comfort, and eco modes. In this category, the Odyssey gets the advantage again, offering a more powerful and faster powertrain and the updated 10-speed transmission that will hopefully quell any of the traditional Odyssey transmission naysayers. In this category, we take a look at how efficient those powertrains are by looking at their miles per gallon, their average fuel range, and their yearly fuel cost. The Odyssey gets 19 miles per gallon of gas in the city and 24 on the highway, for 22 miles per gallon combined. This is good for an average 429-mile cruising range. The Sedona is right on the heels of the Odyssey, with 18 in the city and the same 24 on the highway, for 21 combined and a 443-mile range because the Sedona has a larger fuel tank. Assuming gas costs $2.22 a gallon and you drive each van 15,000 miles a year, the Odyssey will cost $1,514 a year to fill up, compared to the Sedona's $1,586. In this category, the two are extremely close, so they will both get the advantage. The Odyssey has marginally better fuel economy and yearly cost, but the Sedona has a slightly better fuel range. That about evens out in my book, so we'll call it equal. In this category, I take a look at the projected reliability of each vehicle as predicted by Consumer Reports. They extensively test every new vehicle for sale and use historical data to try and accurately forecast new car reliability. They rate each vehicle on a scale from much worse than average to much better than average. The Odyssey is rated worse than average reliability from Consumer Reports, hampered primarily by in-car electronics. The Sedona tested slightly better with a rating of average from the same organization. In this category, the Sedona gets the advantage as it is predicted that this vehicle will let you down less often. Functionality is where I wrap up the loose ends of the comparison and include important buying factors that are relevant to purchasing these vehicles, but don't fit into other categories, such as interior dimensions, warranty, and cargo capacity. Both vans seat up to 8 passengers with rear bench seats. Inside, dimensionally the vans are very close. The Sedona has a couple more inches of hip room in the second and third rows, but has over 3 inches less third row legroom versus the Odyssey. When it comes to cargo space, the two flip-flop back and forth in measurements. The Odyssey has 32.8 cubic feet of space in the cargo hold, but if you fold those rear seats into the floor, it expands to 86.6 cubic feet. When you also remove the second row seats, total cargo capacity is 140.7 cubic feet. The Sedona has more in the cargo hold with 33.9, but has over 8 cubic feet less if you fold the third row down at 78.4. Interestingly, though you cannot remove the second row of the Sedona, it retakes its lead in cargo capacity when you fold them forward with 142 cubic feet. Finally, the Odyssey has a 3-year, 36,000-mile general warranty and a 5-year, 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. However, the Sedona has a 5-year, 60,000-mile general warranty and a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, as is traditional from Korean manufacturers. In this category, the Sedona gets the advantage. Though they have similar seating capacity and cargo dimensions, the Kia's warranty outshines the industry standard. In this category, I do a light design analysis of the vehicles from my point of view. Of course, this category is completely subjective, so feel free to substitute in your own opinions as I go through what I think looks good and what could use work. The 2021 Odyssey received a new front end and minor revisions elsewhere, but you're forgiven if you can't tell them apart from the 2020 model as they look very similar. Up front, the main bright piece in the grille moves up above the headlights, and there are new wheels available. I've always liked this generation of the Odyssey's styling, and the side profile is the most complex minivan I've ever seen, with the lightning bolt cut in the rear window and a similar cut replicated in the lower part of the side door's sheet metal. It rides the line between busy and intricate. For me, it falls in the latter category. From the rear, there isn't too much difference difference over last year. I no longer like how the third row windows bleed into the rear window. It just makes the C-pillar look weird as it attempts to connect to its traditional spot. The taillights give the vehicle a visual width and shorten the overall vehicle height, which is also amplified by the upturn in the rear bumper from the profile view. The Sedona has an exterior that is both plain yet attractive in the same sense, where most plain car designs end up just looking boring. The grille and headlights look posed in an athletic central stance, augmented by the wide side scoops for the fog lights underneath the headlights. The side view is somewhat slab-sided in demeanor, and the rear cut line in the window is the inverse of the Odyssey's, which I don't like as much because it makes the rear 25% of the van look heavier than the first 75%. From the rear, the van is largely anonymous, which was something I thought the front of the vehicle avoided. I think the taillights could use a size increase so the rear doesn't seem like such a vast expanse of metal. The floating roofline we see in the Honda is replicated here in a better fashion because the C-pillar doesn't extend down only to be left hanging. The bumper doesn't pull upwards toward the end either, but instead remains constant for a low load height. On the interior, the Odyssey seems to have been pinched by a giant hand right under the central infotainment screen, a la Ford interiors from 2013, and especially previous Honda interiors. I don't love this style because I find it dated. Interior styling is being lengthened, widened, and spaced out to get a clean feel. This trend started with the German luxury brands, but has leaked down to Volvo, Tesla, Kia and Hyundai, and Ford. Besides that, it remains a very functional design, and the button style shifter looks appealing despite many people's reservations about the usefulness of such setups. I am neutral on the steering wheel, and I think the gauge cluster is atypical yet ultimately visually appealing. The Sedona's interior is a good representation of the wide aesthetic that is growing in popularity, but not exactly the simple, elegant ethos of a Volvo or Tesla. It is attractive to me, but I can tell that it's starting to get dated with the screen size and placement and gauge cluster orientation. The Sedona also looks better with a more traditional transmission tunnel and shifter, possibly at the sacrifice of a very versatile cabin with lots of storage space. At least, that is my theory why other minivans don't have the traditional transmission tunnel you would see in a sedan or SUV. There are plenty of storage spaces in the Sedona regardless. In this category, though I appreciate the Sedona styling, I still think the Odyssey is a generally better looking package. I have seen rumors and spy shots about the updated Sedona styling, and I am excited to see what Kia has done with the next generation, as this current model has been out since 2015 essentially unchanged. For right now though, the 2021 Odyssey is more impressive stylistically. Overall, both of these minivans will more than likely satiate any family's needs. Were it my money, I would choose the updated Odyssey for my garage, but that will be challenged again when I am able to pit these two against the brand new Sienna and significantly revised Pacifica later this year. Stay tuned for that comparison. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day.